The Sea Seraph had set sail on a bright morning, her white sails catching the wind like the wings of a swan. Joy and laughter rolled across the deck as passengers spoke of the new land ahead. It was a time of high spirits. They believed they were leaving behind uncertainty for a place where all could thrive. Captain Seaborne walked among them in his elegant coat, nodding with pride. "We are bound for a future of plenty," he declared, and the crew cheered. But a storm came without warning. Black clouds closed in, winds tore the sails, and the ocean swallowed the ship. When morning broke, the survivors awoke on the sands of a deserted island. Among them was Captain Valen, who quickly took charge. They had salvaged a few crates from the wreck, such as tools, fishing lines, seeds, blankets, and a pen of livestock. The captain claimed these for safekeeping, while others built makeshift shelters of palm leaves and stitched sails. Captain Valen spoke of a grander vision. "One day," he announced, "we will build a high tower as our lighthouse, tall, proud, and beautiful, so that ships will see it and come to our rescue." And so instead of making homes for all, he began building for himself. He used the planks from the wreck, the strongest rope, the metal fittings, and even the last panes of glass. His high tower rose high above the thatched huts and palm trees on the island. The walls were painted in bright colors, finished with polished brass and smooth varnish until they gleamed in the sun. Anara, clutching an old blanket of stitched sailcloth, asked, "Captain, why not share some of the building materials for our shelters?" Captain Valen beamed with a smile, almost pitying her, and said, "A lighthouse must be grand to be seen from afar. If we waste the materials on small huts, no ship will notice us. This house, this beacon, will save us all." Inside his high tower, he kept the fishing gear and small boats, farming tools and cooking pots. The rescued livestock, the goats, chickens, and sheep, grazed in a fenced pen behind the house. From the sheep's wool, he made coats for himself and his family, while others shivered, wrapped with leaves and scraps of old sailcloth. When storms came, they huddled together under dripping thatch. But the captain's children slept warm, their bellies full of roasted mutton. Duran, a fisherman, finally asked, "Captain, could we not use the nets and small boats to catch fish for our families?" The captain's face, clouded with deep, rehearsed concern, said, "If we squander them now, what will we use when we get to the new land? You must endure. Eat the grasshoppers you catch. Sacrifice today, for rescue comes tomorrow." And the people nodded, for he alone knew the seas and the new land. But what they did not know was this. Some nights in the quiet of the moonless dark, a small boat slipped away from the captain's cove. His family rowed silently into the dark water, bound for the mainland. They returned with food, clothes, and spices, enough to keep their table full, their bodies warm, and their house fine for a season. When asked about this, the captain replied, "They go in search of a rescue ship. They risk their lives for you." And the people wept with gratitude. After many complaints about the island's cold, Captain Valen made a great show of generosity. He brought out some building materials from his reserves and some goods his family had fetched from the mainland. From these, he built a massive fireplace in the center of the island. It was taller than a man and wide enough to fit 10 around it. The fire blazed brightly every evening, and people gathered there for warmth. The cost of this single fireplace could have built a hearth for each family on the island, but that would have required better huts, sturdier roofs, and more tools to build. Instead, the grand central fire became a daily ritual. The islanders walked miles from their homes to warm themselves, then returned to their cold, damp shelters each night. Still, they believed it was a gift of the captain's generosity, proof that he cared for them. Kelvar and Mira, two of the captain's loyal supporters, proclaimed, "No one else could keep us safe like the captain. We are fortunate to have such a leader." Duran muttered to Anara, "Fortunate? Look at us, eating grasshoppers while his children eat barbecued meat and fresh bread." But Anara only shook her head and said, "If he says the high tower will save us, then it must be so." And so, the seasons turned. Around the only glittering tall house on the island lay a camp of ragged thatched tents. The people clung to the hope that one day The beacon would call their rescue. They did not see that it was never built to light the way for them. It was only built to glorify the man who ruled their island.